The end of the behavior scam story. This is the newest title of the Reddit post posted by Yasha, and in case you missed it, they said they bought the Junji Ito collection skin, they paid for it with Auric cells, and ultimately they did not receive the cosmetic. Had his post actually ended up blowing up, it got over 900,000 views over on Reddit, and it was pretty bad for behavior. Pretty much every single one of the replies on anything that they posted about, this is what the main source of topic was. Everyone was talking about it. And it seems that we have a rather happy update to the entire situation. So as I said, in case you didn't recall, the story was quite simple. Yasha went ahead and bought their cosmetics. They saw that it was available in their shop. They were super excited. They purchased them, and ultimately they didn't receive the skins whatsoever. They then went ahead to contact behavior, where they pretty much said that there really wasn't anything that they could do. And they pretty much asked for their Auric cells back, and the person that replied to them said that, hey, we can't give you back any of the Auric cells. They pretty much said no refund can be issued at this time, and there's no further information that they have to share on the matter. Now in this video, I explored many solutions that behavior could have done, and it seems that there is a solution that came into fruition, which is exciting news. According to the post today, after 10 days since the first ticket was initially put out there, and 7 days since support replied about the skin, they finally did indeed receive their cosmetic, which is awesome. So in the end, it was a happy ending. And I have to say, this isn't behavior putting pressure on me because I'm a fog whisperer or anything like that. I do need to apologize to DBD because I said that they pretty much scammed somebody out of their money. Now that the issue is resolved, that is not necessarily the case. So in that sense, I have to say that I was wrong. However, this doesn't make the situation any less complicated, and there's still some things that I want to talk about and address with everything. And we'll start off with the first thing, which is international laws, essentially. Now, every different region, every different place, they have their own laws. They have their own regulations when it comes down to gaming. This isn't anything new. This has been there for years and years and years, and everything is different. One of the examples that I used in my previous video was there were rumors that the Demogorgon was going to rip off the head of someone in their Mori, but because of international laws, in some places they figured that the Mori would then be banned, so therefore why ban it in certain countries when you could easily just do the attack that it had. That's just how it works. Everywhere is different. This person specifically said that they were from Ukraine, in the Ukrainian region, so whatever that may be, there's some sort of international law there, or maybe it's because of where it's surrounded by. There's always something that goes into it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the law itself. Sometimes it's the creator. This was a collaboration that may not want to sell their product in certain regions, and that's just the licensing deal that they have. It is a very complex and complicated subject matter. So this isn't necessarily behavior's fault, as I said in that video prior. The issue more so lies with the fact that everything was just a little bit so vague. There wasn't really a lot that they necessarily said, and obviously it was just a mistake on their part to even allow this skin to be bought at the time when it wasn't necessarily available in the region itself. Nonetheless, it is a pretty good W for Dead by Daylight to actually give this person their skin. The steps and all the backlash that they're going to get because of this definitely doesn't help. And of course, we're going to see this last throughout, because whenever there's a negative post, something that is really a driving factor, and especially when so many people, including myself, are so passionate about something like this, a lot of people tend to see it. And then when the positive side comes out, you typically don't really hear a lot of people looking into that, because who really cares? Now, the end point being, it shouldn't have been this chaotic or so much drama and just minimal feedback from support whatsoever. As I pointed out in my previous video, those things still stand. One of my mods, Valdi, had terrible experiences with their support, and so many other horror stories come out with support that a lot of this could have just been easily avoided. As I said, some of the solutions in the previous video, which I'll just reiterate quite quickly. Number one, the skin should not have been available to anybody in the region that weren't allowed to get the skin at the time. Obviously, they said in a future update you'll be able to purchase it, but a costly mistake nonetheless. And I get it, mistakes happen. For behavior though, mistakes tend to happen quite a lot. These are things that they need to have quality control over at some point in time. And this is something that I mentioned in a previous video. There just needs to be some sort of way, essentially, to just ensure that things like this just don't happen, because it's a PR disaster all around. Even so, let's say the mistake was a mistake. What can you do about it? At least at that point, specify that this skin would not be available in these specific regions. This could be subject to change, but as of now, these regions, you can't purchase them. And you don't necessarily need to elaborate too much about it. You can just say that's just the case. So if you're in these regions, you wouldn't be able to get these skins, but there really was never a comprehensive list, so we just really didn't know. And finally, when everybody is replying to Dead by Daylight, saying all these things, saying that you're literally scamming people, this would have been a perfect opportunity for them to re-emphasize that point, whether it was on the forums, on Twitter, anywhere. They could have simply said, listen, this is what the situation is, and this is all that we have going. And of course, that would have spread a little and people would have seen it. Said the route that they chose was to say nothing, and eventually this did get resolved, but like I said, this is going to take a while for them to recover from. We obviously saw that Steam got review bombed because of this. As I mentioned prior, everywhere that you go that has a Dead by Daylight post talks about this specifically. And eventually in due time, people will forget and move on from the subject, but still, it doesn't help whatsoever. So nonetheless, mistakes were made all around. But in the end, a happy solution. The person used their Auric cells, they bought something, they got exactly what they paid for. It took quite a while to get there, but in the end, it did eventually get there. So that is a little happy update to everything that's going on. And as I said, I just want to say that they didn't actually scam the person, which is really, really good. So the previous video that I made prior to this, we can completely disregard this, but nonetheless, some cleaning up that needs to be happening over at BHVR to make sure that things like this just don't happen. The skin should not have been available whatsoever, and some feedback or actual good talking points to ease the situation would have been good, instead of letting the post get to almost 1 million views and then all those people being under the wrong impression. That's a quick little update video on everything. I'm happy everything eventually did work out. And again, that's on me. I take back what I said about DBD, and I'm sorry. And don't worry, this isn't me backing down because they told me to, or because I'm a fog whisperer and they're like, we're gonna take away fog whisperer from you. I promise you, if you give valid criticism or you talk about things like this, nothing is going to happen. As long as you're not personally attacking somebody or going above and beyond to like inside a riot or something, I don't know, something crazy, then you're fine. There's no censorship when it comes down to being a fog whisperer. If you take a look at previous videos I've made tons and tons of videos criticizing BHVR about some of the decisions and things they have done. I speak about these things numerous of times when I'm on stream itself, just talking about some things that I don't agree with that they're doing. And I even tell these things directly to developers themselves so they know how I'm feeling. I always keep telling you guys about this, but sometimes it's just a little bit misconstrued, but it is true. Anyways, that's pretty much going to do it for me. I got to get going. I got to go to stream. Make sure you guys are joining up twitch.tv/theking. I'll see you there. The bidathon continues. It is day 54. I'm going to go play some Chaos Shuffle. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. As always, I'm the King. That's my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog.